Hi, welcome to the second installment of my monthly video game collection haul video series. I said in the first video that I would probably not have as much stuff to show since I bought so much last time, but as you can see here, I do have a lot to show, because I got quite a few games for Christmas. And as I said in the last video, I'm going in the order that I obtained these games. First, we've got Sushi Striker: The Way of Sushido for Nintendo 3DS. I already own and have played the Switch version of this game, which I enjoyed, but I also wanted the 3DS version because that's the system it was originally made for, and I'm curious to see if it feels any better to play on 3DS. The Switch version gives you the option to play with stick and buttons, which I prefer, or with the touchscreen in handheld mode, which is a lot more awkward in my opinion. But I have a hunch that using the 3DS touchscreen with a stylus might be just as good as stick and buttons, or even better. Also, this is one of the several first-party Nintendo games that have Switch and 3DS versions that were released simultaneously on both platforms. Others include Fire Emblem Warriors and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and I think it might be fun to start collecting those. Next is Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Now, I did already own this game, but I wanted to get a new copy for two reasons. The first is because I bought my original copy pre-owned from GameStop, and as you may know, buying a used game doesn't support the developers or the publishers. All of your money goes directly to the store you buy it from. So sometimes I will buy a new copy of a game I already own because I want to support the devs. And since you can still find this game brand new in some retail stores, I decided to go for it. The second reason is that I noticed that newer prints of this have this red Nintendo logo on the spine. Okay, brief history lesson. From March 2017 onward, after the Nintendo Switch launched, Nintendo published 3DS titles have had this red logo on the bottom of the spine, whereas older ones had a smaller white logo. Now, Smash for 3DS was released way back in 2014, but apparently Nintendo decided to have this reprinted with the new branding, and as far as I know, this is the only game originally released prior to March 2017 they have done this with. Not even other bestsellers on 3DS like Mario Kart 7 or New Super Mario Bros. 2. So I thought it would be interesting to have both of these. Moving on, I've got Pokemon Ranger for the Nintendo DS. I'm a fan of Jaden Animations on YouTube, and I love her gaming-related videos, including her Pokemon Ranger one, which inspired me to collect the Pokemon Ranger games. Naturally, I've got the first one here. Hopefully I can find the other two at reasonable prices. I've never played a Nintendogs game before, but that's about to change since I picked up this copy of Nintendogs Plus Cats Golden Retriever and New Friends, which was a launch title for the 3DS. I like dogs, but I also really like cats, and I hope to someday care for a pet Siamese cat. In the meantime, I can care for a virtual Siamese cat. Now we're getting into what I got for Christmas. These were all graciously gifted to me by my brother, so I give my sincere thanks to him. First, he gave me Drawn to Life and Drawn to Life: The Next Chamber for the DS. I did have both of these in my collection at one point, but I sold them because I wanted to try and find the Drawn to Life collection that has both games on one cartridge. But since these were a gift, I guess I have to keep these. I still appreciate them though. Probably the most important game I got this entire month is Order Up for the 3DS. This is the game I bought a European 3DS for. Yes, you can argue that this is shovelware that no one has any business playing, but when my brother got his first 2DS system about 5 years ago, this was one of the first games he downloaded, and he was nice enough to share with me, and we both enjoyed this game. I never bothered to buy it myself when I got my own system a year later, and when my brother upgraded his 3DS, he couldn't figure out how to do a system transfer, and all of the digital games he originally purchased were lost when he sold his 2DS. Unfortunately, since then, Order Up has been removed from the eShop and the game never got a physical release here in North America. So when I got the urge to play this game again, my best options were to buy and play the Wii or PS3 versions. But trying to play this with motion controls on the Wii is horrendous. And while playing with a regular controller on PS3 is tolerable, the touch controls on the 3DS version will always reign supreme in my eyes. So my only hope was to import it from Europe because it did get a physical release over there. After I got my hands on a European 3DS, I went ahead and ordered this game on eBay, and it never arrived. And it's been so long that I don't think it's possible to try to get my money back, so I'm not going to. But my brother wanted to replay this game just as much as I did, so he ordered another copy from eBay himself, which arrived just in time for Christmas. He very well could have kept this game for himself, but he doesn't have a European 3DS, so now it's in my collection, which I am very thankful for. Another pleasant surprise from him was this copy of Super Princess Peach for the DS. I've had this game on my wishlist for quite some time, but I wasn't going to go out of my way to collect it. I would just scoop it up if I found a copy in the wild for a reasonable price, but now I don't have to, and it's complete with the manual and in very nice condition. And the last games my brother gave me were these Avatar games for PS2. I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time in 2020, mind you, not on Netflix like most people, but rather on DVD. Since I am a new fan of the show, I want to collect the Avatar games. Normally I prefer to get my games on Nintendo platforms if they're available, but I don't want to play with motion controls on the Wii, and only the first game was on the GameCube, so the PS2 versions it is. Besides, I need more PS2 games to justify owning a PS2, because before this I only owned one PS2 game. That's all the games I got for Christmas, but I did buy a few more afterwards. This just came out about a month ago, but Immortals Fenyx Rising is already going on sale, so I picked this up for $40 at Best Buy. Then literally the following week it was on sale for $30, but whatever. I also got both Ori games for Switch, Ori and the Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps. These games are absolutely beautiful and I am excited to play them. I did pre-order the collector's edition from I Am 8-Bit, but only because I didn't know there would be standalone copies available. It was the only thing available for pre-order when physical copies of these games were announced. But these come with the bare minimum stuff that I actually want, like the manuals and soundtrack download codes. I don't need the extra stuff in the collector's edition, so when it arrives, I'm going to resell it for what I paid. Finally, the last games I bought in 2020, literally on New Year's Eve, were Picross 3D for the DS and The Legend of Korra: A New Era Begins for the 3DS. I needed Picross 3D since I have the sequel on 3DS, which I also imported from Europe. And because I like Avatar, I'm also watching The Legend of Korra, and thus I wanted to collect this game for it as well. There is another Korra game, but it never got a physical release at all, and has been delisted from all digital stores, which I'm very sad about, but oh well. And those are the games I added to my collection in December. I'm not making it a New Year's resolution, but one of my goals for the upcoming year is to try to buy less stuff and play through more of my backlog. Wish me luck!